Imagine this. You're eating less, training harder, yet the fat won't budge. The problem isn't willpower. It's a hormone quietly blocking your progress. Dr. Jason Fung calls it the fat storage switch. Research shows it traps fat no matter the calories. The good news, you can reset it. Here's how to unlock fat burning. If you want your body to burn fat, the very first step is lowering insulin. Dr. Jason Fung often explains, insulin is the hormone that locks fat away. And the science supports this. Think of your fat cells like a refrigerator. They store plenty of energy, but if insulin is high, the door is locked. You may feel hungry and tired, even though your body is carrying more than enough fuel. Dr. Ben Bikman, a leading researcher in metabolism, puts it simply. It's not about having energy in your body. It's about whether your body can use it. Studies in journals like the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism show that when insulin is allowed to fall, fat burning can rise significantly, sometimes by 20–30% in controlled studies. This shift happens because your body finally gains access to stored energy instead of being forced to rely only on incoming food. The practical way to do this isn't extreme. It's simply to avoid constant snacking. Give your body space between meals so insulin can naturally drop. You don't need to starve, just let your metabolism breathe. Try skipping that mid-morning snack today and notice how your energy feels steadier without the constant spikes and crashes. When it comes to fat loss, not all calories behave the same in your body. Dr. Jason Fung often says, some foods are simply more fattening than others, not because of calories, but because of hormones. And the main hormone he's pointing to is insulin. If a food spikes insulin, your body shifts into storage mode, locking fat away. If a food keeps insulin low, your body is free to use stored energy. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared bread to lentils. The calories were similar, but the insulin response was dramatically different. Bread caused nearly 3 times more insulin release. That means those calories were more likely to be stored as fat. Dr. Ben Bikman explains, insulin isn't just responding to sugar. It responds to the speed and type of carbohydrate. Refined carbs like white rice, pasta, or cookies digest quickly, flooding the system and spiking insulin. In contrast, whole foods like beans, vegetables, and eggs create a slower, gentler response. The practical action is simple. Start swapping. Replace one refined carb with a slower, fiber-rich option. Instead of cereal, try oats. Instead of white rice, try lentils. Small swaps like these help train your body to burn fuel steadily, instead of locking it away. The way you start your morning sets the tone for the entire day. If the first thing you eat is sugar, you trigger a sharp rise in insulin that locks fat away and leaves you chasing energy crashes. Dr. Jason Fung explains it clearly. When insulin spikes first thing in the morning, you spend the rest of the day storing, not burning. A 2022 study from the National Institutes of Health found that consuming sugar within 30 minutes of waking led to unstable blood sugar swings and cravings just a few hours later. People felt hungrier despite having eaten more. That's because high insulin in the morning suppresses fat burning and makes your body dependent on constant refueling. Dr. Ben Bikman puts it bluntly. The first meal of the day should calm insulin, not ignite it. The fix is straightforward. Swap sugar-heavy breakfasts, like sweetened cereal, pastries, or flavored coffee, for foods that stabilize insulin. Eggs, Greek yogurt, nuts, or even plain black coffee can help keep energy steady. By protecting your mornings from sugar spikes, you're giving your metabolism a clean, calm start. Try it tomorrow and notice how much more focused and energized you feel by midday. One of the most powerful ways to lower insulin is by extending the natural fasting window between meals. Dr. Sachin Panda, a leading researcher on circadian rhythms at the Salk Institute, notes, the body isn't designed to be fed around the clock. Giving your metabolism rest allows insulin to fall and fat to be released. Intermittent fasting does exactly that. It creates intentional gaps so your body switches from storage to burning. In cell metabolism, a 2016 study showed that participants who followed time-restricted eating, limiting food to a 10-hour window, saw significant drops in fasting insulin and improved fat oxidation, even without cutting calories. Similarly, Dr. Walter Longo of USC emphasizes that fasting isn't starvation, but a natural rhythm. There's a time to eat and a time to fast. Both are equally important for health. The practical approach doesn't have to be extreme. Simply finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and delaying breakfast until 9 a.m. gives you a 14-hour fast. During that time, insulin falls and your body taps into fat stores for energy. Start with 1 or 2 days per week and see how your energy shifts when you allow your metabolism to work as it was designed. The goal isn't to fast endlessly. It's to find a rhythm where feeding and fasting balance each other. Dr. Frank Hu, professor of nutrition at Harvard, reminds us, it's not just what you eat, but when you eat that shapes metabolism. In traditional cultures, eating happened in defined windows, followed by long periods of rest. Today, constant grazing keeps insulin high and prevents the natural fat-burning cycle from ever switching on. Research published in Nutrition Reviews highlights that when people adopt structured meal timing, 2 to 3 larger meals instead of constant snacking, they see reductions in fasting insulin and better blood sugar control. Similarly, Dr. David Ludwig, also of Harvard, has shown that diets that combine balanced meals with clear fasting periods improve insulin sensitivity more than calorie restriction alone. Practically, this means respecting both sides of the cycle. When you eat, focus on nutrient-dense meals, protein, vegetables, healthy fats. When you fast, let the body do its work, releasing energy from fat stores. You don't need to fear food, and you don't need to fear fasting. Together, they form the natural rhythm your metabolism was designed for. Start by planning 3 solid meals and closing the kitchen in between. One of the most effective tools you have against high insulin isn't found in the kitchen, it's in your muscles. Dr. Sherry Kohlberg, an exercise physiologist specializing in diabetes, explains, muscle is the most important site for glucose disposal in the entire body. In other words, the more active and trained your muscles are, the better. They can pull sugar out of your bloodstream without needing as much insulin. Research in diabetes care found that just 12 weeks of resistance training improved insulin sensitivity by 46% in adults with insulin resistance. That means your body required less insulin to do the same job, freeing up fat stores to be burned. Another study from the University of Michigan showed that a single bout of strength training increased glucose uptake into muscle for up to 24 hours. This isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about teaching your body to use fuel efficiently. Practically, start with simple moves: squats, push-ups, or resistance bands 2 to 3 times a week. When you contract muscle, you send a powerful signal that lowers insulin naturally. Strong muscles don't just carry you through life. They act as metabolic engines, keeping your body flexible, resilient, and primed to burn fat. Not all foods that raise insulin are obvious. Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist and author of Fat Chance, explains, liquid sugar is the single biggest driver of insulin spikes in the modern diet. Drinks like soda, juice, and even so-called healthy smoothies hit your bloodstream faster than solid food, leading to sharp rises in blood sugar and insulin. That means fat burning is switched off almost instantly. Research published in The Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology found that people who consumed 1 or more sugary drinks daily had a 26% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, largely due to chronically elevated insulin responses. Even foods marketed as healthy, instant oatmeal, flavored yogurts, energy bars, can digest so quickly that they behave more like sugar than whole food. Dr. Dariush Mosafarian of Tufts University has pointed out that processing changes how food affects your body more than calories alone ever could. The practical step is awareness. Start by reading labels and looking at the first 3 ingredients. If sugar, corn syrup, or refined starch is listed, expect a strong insulin response. Swap one of these hidden spikers today for a whole food option, like replacing juice with water or cereal with boiled eggs. Small choices like these can keep insulin steady and fat burning unlocked. For decades, we were told to fear fat, but modern research shows that the right fats can actually lower insulin and help you feel full longer. Dr. Walter Willett, professor of nutrition at Harvard, explains, the evidence shows clearly that unsaturated fats are not the problem. They're part of the solution for long-term metabolic health. Unlike refined carbs, natural fats don't cause sharp spikes in blood sugar or insulin. A large trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine compared a low-fat diet with a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil and nuts. The Mediterranean group had 30% fewer cases of diabetes, largely because their insulin sensitivity improved. Another study in the Journal of Nutrition found that adding healthy fats like avocado or almonds to a meal reduced post-meal insulin responses by 15 to 20% compared to carb-heavy meals of the same calories. The practical step is simple. Don't fear adding healthy fats to your plate. Use olive oil on your vegetables, snack on a handful of nuts, or add avocado to your breakfast. These foods calm hunger, stabilize insulin, and make it easier to stay satisfied without constant snacking. Fats, when chosen wisely, can be your ally in unlocking steady energy. We often focus only on food and exercise, but sleep and stress are just as important for keeping insulin under control. Dr. Matthew Walker, sleep scientist at UC Berkeley, explains, "Short sleep makes you metabolically groggy. Even 1 week of poor sleep can make a healthy person pre-diabetic. That's because when you sleep less than 7 hours, insulin sensitivity can drop by more than 30%, forcing your body to produce extra insulin just to manage the same meal." Stress plays a similar role. Dr. Herbert Benson of Harvard Medical School has shown that chronic stress raises cortisol, which keeps insulin levels higher for longer. In a study published in The Lancet, people with high stress and short sleep had significantly higher risks of weight gain, even when their diets were the same. The combination of poor recovery and high stress traps fat in storage mode. The good news is, recovery is in your control. Start by aiming for a consistent 7 to 8 hours of sleep and creating a wind-down routine. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing, meditation, or a short walk can lower cortisol. By protecting your rest, you allow insulin to reset, giving your body the freedom to burn fat naturally.